Hello and welcome to another episode of Chino and the Hills. This is episode 2 of season 2. I have a very special guest on today. I'm really excited about this one, actually. Longtime friend of mine, played soccer in college together, went to school, lived together at points. And now Ian Trantow is a major part in the Chino Hills community. So without further ado, Ian, welcome. Mr. Trantow, Ian, Coach Trantow. We'll get into that, but welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about Chino and Chino Hills and everything going on with our community right now.
Yeah, this one will be fun. Go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
So, I'm Ian Trantow. I'm a special education teacher over at Chino Hills High School. I'm also the Chino Hills boys soccer varsity coach there. I've been kind of involved with club at Freedom Football Club, which is a Chino Hills based club. Just recently moved to a different group out in Riverside. But as far as the community goes, I've been kind of tied into it since, me and you were in college. Like, I think I started coaching at Ayala High School when I was 19 years old. So I'd been coaching in the area 10, going on 11 years.
You're jumping way ahead. Take us back to like AYSO years of Ian. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, you want me to go way back?
Yeah. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? All that good stuff.
Got it. So I grew up in Riverside, California. I started playing soccer 6 or 7 years old. I raced one of my best friends back in recess, and they said I was fast, and I didn't even know what soccer was. I didn't come from a soccer family. And then my dad kind of stepped in and felt like he's like, I could coach him. So he coached me for a little bit, and that's how that lasted about 2 years. Moved somewhere else away from my dad coaching me.
That was as long as you could take him or he could take you.
I think
Mutual.
my mom made him. I think my mom made him quit once she saw how much we were bickering and fighting every single day after practice and stuff.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I ended up going to Arlington High School out in Riverside. After that, went to Cal State Bakersfield, and then eventually transferred to Cal Poly Pomona.
Any notable roommates at Bakersfield?
I had one named Keith. At my, I'm just joking. Obviously you. Obviously
no, at Bakersfield. At Bakersfield.
Oh. Sorry, I got ahead of it. So I lived with Jossie Zardes, who plays on the Columbus Crew currently, and he played on the U.S. He is still on the roster for the U.S. national team. I don't know. They're kind of in that kind of weird player pool thing.
Yeah, he's definitely in the pool. Former Galaxy player. Yeah.
I played with him, and he was awesome player, even better person. So that was a really fun experience living with him. He's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Even when I would try to make him mad or try to play jokes on him or try to get under his skin a little bit, like nothing got to that guy. So that was frustrating for me, but because I like doing that to people. But I mean, it was an awesome experience, just kind of seeing his development and him going through those things, kind of just being a regular kid and just actually seeing where he ended up. And again, all props to him. He deserves the world because he was one of the best guys that I've ever known, and he's doing a lot for his community. I think he's doing a lot for out in Hawthorne out play. So, but yeah, that's my notable roommate.
So you get to Cal Poly. What's that?
I was saying you were my notable roommate.
Well, yeah. We'll get to that. But so you get to Cal Poly. What did you major in at Cal Poly?
I majored in kinesiology. So kinesiology, I started as an exercise science in the exercise science branch of kinesiology, and then I got through about 2 quarters of it, and I realized this is too hard for me. I don't want to do this anymore.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. So, and I saw some kids, playing Frisbee outside and as a class, and I was like, this looks cool. I want to go into this. And then eventually I ended up really enjoying it and really liking the teaching side of things. So I'm really glad I did make that decision.
Was that your first like introduction into potentially going into education, or had you ever thought about that before?
That was my first introduction.
Yeah.
So I went in, and I think I was just kind of a young kid. You knew me as a youngster, but I was in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What year was it that we actually met before you went even to Bakersfield when you were playing club? What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2009. So that was like
So I
2008,
met in like
2009.
2008, 2009. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I had no plans. I was actually a criminal justice major at Bakersfield.
Okay.
And then I moved to a different branch. What I wanted to do with criminal justice, then I found out I didn't need a degree in it. I just wanted to do sheriff's department or CHP. And then I ended up changing my mindset, trying to do physical therapy, then kind of got burnt out with that. And then I went into the pedagogy branch, and I'm really glad I stuck with it because that got me introduced to teaching. I don't do PE teaching now. That's kind of what pedagogy was, but it kind of got me into the educational field. And that's where I really found a passion for teaching in the classroom and working with some of all of our students, and specifically our special education community. I just love the students, love the kids I get to be in contact with, and love the camaraderie I get to have with those students. So I'm really happy I did make that change.
Nice. So you get through Cal Poly, graduate after 13 years or something like that.
It's three major changes.
No, and a couple red shirts, yellow shirts, and gray shirts mixed in. That's an inside joke, but with injuries, I did the same thing. I had a red shirt, so I had an additional season, but it's what happens. We take
And Wilder
advantage
was one of my heroes, so kind of follow
exactly.
his footsteps.
Exactly. So after Cal Poly, where'd you go from there?
So after Cal Poly, I took about a year off. I got into substitute teaching, seeing if this was really the path. I wouldn't say I was lost. I knew I wanted to be an educator. I just didn't know really where I wanted to go with it. And then I started subbing different classes, different ages, I did everything from K through 12, kindergarten, all the way to seniors in high school. And I really found a passion for the high school age. I really enjoyed just being able to communicate with these kids or these young adults, and being able to have actual real life conversations with these students. I think it's just a really cool experience. So after I got done subbing and kind of found that, I ended up going to the University of Laverne, getting my teaching credential. I was the graduate assistant coach over there with Coach Trevor Person. So we had a couple good seasons, a couple rougher seasons, but a couple good seasons too. So that was a fun experience. On the soccer side, starting with the soccer side, that was a lot of fun getting to coach at that level, and being around the college environment once I was done with it. And then as far as the school level goes, it was really a good program. Helped me kind of build a roadmap for myself, see what I want to do. Kind of gave me a lot of tools I would need with these things, because this was something I was, just learning. Like, this was something I didn't have set in place, or I didn't have this passion when I, grown up as a high school or even my early years of college. So they helped me a lot, just kind of figure out how to communicate properly and how to get through to different kinds of kids with different, whether it's, a learning disability or just a regular kid having a hard day. They give us a lot of tools to kind of work with every kind of scenario. So it ended up being a really good experience. That one took me a while too, though, by the way, speaking of status. But I actually just got fully credentialed in December. So
Nice.
finally done.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So all the while you were coaching club and high school, or on and off, back and forth as well, right?
Yes. So my moneymaker, and also just my passion and my you hear about those guys that quit playing and how much they miss it and things like that. I've never really missed playing because I think I've kept myself around the game so much. I've had a couple opportunities to coach at college, and I just, it's not seeing what some of our ex-coaches have had to go through and doing those things. It just wasn't something I wanted to do. But as far as my passion is really just helping the kids that have that potential to go to the next level. And even the ones that don't, just to make sure, to give them those life skills, or to teach them discipline, all those things that come with any team sport. That's a real big passion of mine that I'll probably stick with me forever. So going back to your question, I was first, I don't remember the year, but I was at Ayala High School for about 4 years.
Did your motion lights
My
just go
lights,
off?
my motion lights just turned off. I might have to get up in a second.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just gotta run real quick. All right.
Ian's doing this interview on campus, so and mind you, it's after working hours, so putting in extra time.
Yeah, overtime. But yeah, so I coached Ayala 4 years, and I got my first club team when I took over for one of the coaches at Ayala. He moved to Pennsylvania, and he gave me a team at Freedom. And then I kind of worked my way up in Freedom, became a director over there, working with, got to know those coaches and the president really well, and still really close to them, good friends with them still. And then about 4 years down the road, I got an opportunity to move to Chino Hills High School and coach here. And that's been a great move because our principal, he's been awesome, and he's, really worked with me, A, on the athletic side, and B, from the educational side. So I'm really, really happy with the move, and really happy that I did make that transition. It's a great school. And again, the community is something else, Chino Hills, Chino, the people here, it's just a really, really great area to work, and a really great area to be in, whether it be sports, school, coaching, whatever it is. So really happy about it. So
yeah, so to be clear, you started coaching there before actually being on staff as a teacher. You just started last year as a teacher, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
This would be my 5th year coaching if we were doing a little bit more, but due to the circumstances.
Right.
But yeah, 5th year coaching, but my 1st year teaching.
So you came in, what month was it that you started? In 2020, right?
Yes. 2020, my first year at Chino Hills was, or my first month was, when does school start? It's been a long day. Oh, I'm sorry, not August, September 2020.
So you came into it in the thick of at-home distance learning and all that stuff. So quite an introduction into the education system in your first year, trying to get your head wrapped around everything as far as educating. And oh, by the way, let's just do it distance wise. So to tell us exactly like where you're at now, you kind of alluded to it, you're doing the special ed. Kind of talk a little bit about exactly what you're working on right now, kind of your different classes and stuff like that.
So I focus on just English, and then, just kind of looking over my students, things like that, checking their schedules, checking their grades, making sure they're okay, just being in contact with the parents. But my actual classes I teach are English. So I do, my own English class, and then I'm also in a collaboration setting with another teacher, working with another teacher in the classroom. So yeah, I mean, it's been a little different. Last year, I was actually, when I was teaching in Riverside for that last year, I was teaching science. So now I got moved over to English, and it's been awesome. I've always loved English. I mean, I wouldn't say I loved it, but I've always been pretty good at it. So It's kind of been a natural move for me. But I mean, as far as with COVID, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. Me personally, I would love for the kids to be back, and I feel, empathetic towards them with what they're going through and what they're doing. I've been through this. I'm done. I can teach for 30, 40 more years, and they only get these 3 or 4 years of high school to experience those things, from the social side, from the prom, from the going to the games, playing the sports, doing all those things, and all that's kind of taken away from them. So it's really hard. We see a lot of and we're dealing with a lot of that as teachers, as role models with these students, and trying to just get them through it, because it is a struggle. It's a struggle. You're seeing it, from the academic side, from the athletic side, from the motivation side with these kids. And it's, unfortunately, I don't think we really have all the answers, because we still have several students struggling more than others and things like that. And, we just have to be there for them as much as we can, and be supportive, and try to motivate them, and try to talk. I try to be as transparent as I can with my kids, and try to get through to them somehow. But it is a constant battle right now,
Yeah.
and it's not their fault at all. It's that's the worst part about it. They didn't put themselves in this situation. This situation came upon them. So that's really the big struggle, and kind of the bummer of the year,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a special needs sister myself, and she went through the special education programs throughout. And I mean, I know that school was like everything for her, right? Like the social aspect of it, and just all that was just so huge. So that community specifically, obviously, definitely takes an additional hit, for sure. And to have that like interaction in person, and it's just the nature of things. What drew you to going the special education route?
Um, I, I've always, like I said, I before I got into the actual like credential program and stuff, I kind of subbed around. So that was kind of like my gateway, just checking out everything. I did PE, I did English, I did science, I did technology, and then I did the different levels of special education. And I just, my first day, I even remember it wasn't even a high school. It was actually a middle school out in Riverside. I believe it was Shamawa Middle School. And I, just working with these kids, I just loved it. I loved it. There's just so much like any student, you gotta break through some of their shells a little bit, but there's just always such good human beings, such good hearts with a lot of our students, that it's just awesome to work with them. And I love the fact that they can lean on you a little bit more in this setting. Not this setting, not the computer setting, but just in the special education setting, and being that role model, and being that guide, and being that person that can kind of be there for them, because that's something that even with my coaching, I try to do, and I like to think, I'm sure there's a few players that haven't liked me in the past, but I like to think I have a good rapport and good relationship with my players, and as well as with my students. And I felt like that this was the best route to go with that, because if you get through and kind of break through that thick skin of a lot of these kids, you've kind of created a relationship forever, especially with those students. Like, they always know they can go back to you and do those things, and they can rely on you. You just have to break through that trust barrier at first, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the biggest thing, because I would say, that's a big passion of mine, just helping and guiding and doing those things. Again, with the coaching and with the teaching, it's one of my favorite things. I think I was talking to someone, the other day about this. I can't remember who it was, and I know I have a long way to go as a teacher, and to learn different things, and to continue learning, continue developing. But the one thing that I really have a passion for, and I think I'm really good at, is caring for the kids, and being there for the kids, and creating a good environment for the kids, where a lot of these kids need that kind of environment. So that's kind of where I kind of fell in love with it. Giving them that outlet, giving them that support, because it's something that comes natural to me. Believe it or not, because I know I used to play a couple pranks here and there on you in college and stuff. But I do think that is something I'm more natural with, is just giving that caringness to those students, and helping them through whatever issues they're going through.
Yeah, I never thought about this, but like, if my next question was going to be kind of what's the difference between coaching high school and coaching club, but I think it circles back to this too. It's like you kind of are have like a link or a connection with different kind of, there's different alterations, I would imagine, that you have to make towards each of these different factions. You're teaching the high school students, and then the club, because obviously age difference, but like it's just a different environment as well. So it's kind of interesting that you have to kind of alter that mindset and the way you communicate and stuff like that. So that's an interesting tidbit that I kind of took from that. So what would you say is kind of the difference between the club coaching versus the high school coaching,
Um,
or anything?
I would say probably. So it's hard. For being soccer specific,
Yeah.
I do think there's more opportunity for the players that have the ability in at the club level. Obviously, if you make a deep run in CIF in high school, you'll get coaches to your games and stuff like that. But I do think that, that's something you can't take away from these kids that have the talent, have the potential. You need to let them do those things. You need to let them do both. But if they were to choose one, they have to do that if they do have that goal in mind to play in college like we did and do those things, because the platform is bigger at the club level. Whereas on the other hand, though, at the high school level, against just talking about the player's experience is the experience. You do it for the experience. You do it for your pride. You do it to get fans that just aren't your mom and dad at your games. You get to do it to ride the buses with your teammates, which you don't get that at club, academy, ECNL, whatever you're at. So I do think they both do give a really good, valuable benefits to our kids. It just, sometimes the reality is they can't do both. They can't do both. But if they are able to do both, I always try to push them to. As far as coaching goes, at the high school, a lot of the times you don't get to. It's really fun because it's kind of that little 3-month season. It's not
right. It's quick. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's quick. So it's, implement, master it, and then let's go do it on the field, and you don't get to really pick your players. It's not like we're a Servite or something like that, where there is that opportunity. Public schools, there's no recruiting or none of that. And so we have to work with what we have as coaches and try to make the most of it and play to the strengths of what we get, where club is just that continuous thing. And if you make a name for yourself and your team makes a name for themselves, hopefully you get a couple guys or girls. For what I say girls because I just picked up my first girls team. So that's an experience in itself. But
yeah. See, there's another one, right? Like
Yep.
that's a totally different experience as well. The communicating to them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think those are just kind of the biggest things. Like you have that time to continuously kind of grow. If they don't get it the first day, you can do it again the next day. For high school, it's like, let's go, because it's 3 months, we're done,
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What is the current state of affairs with soccer at Chino Hills High School? Like, I know that some sports have been able to train. Obviously, there's been lots of implications with regards to whether you're going to compete at all this year. It's not looking positive. I don't know, but soccer season would have theoretically basically already passed. But what's the current state of affairs? Have you done any training? Are you currently? What's going on there?
Yeah. So right before Christmas break, which I believe was December, I might be wrong on the date, but I think it was around December 18th or something, we were cleared to start doing conditioning. So there was no equipment, 6 feet apart, kids wear masks in. We were allowed to take the masks off when they were allowed to take the masks off when they're running. But we couldn't touch a ball. We couldn't have any contact. So we did that till actually literally this week was the first week we were able to touch equipment again.
Wow.
So it was fun. It was finally fun. We had actually, believe it or not, we had more kids come out.
Huh.
Kids don't like just running apparently, but yeah. So now we have been cleared to use equipment. We still can't do contact, but we are doing drills and just working on their touches. And then we also got cleared to do weight room. So we're doing weight room twice a week, and then we're going on the field twice a week. And I'm trying to make it.
There we go. Lights went out again. The lights went out.
I told you
podcast listeners wouldn't notice, but if you're viewing this,
we'll cut
all right, we're back in action.
I'm trying to make it experience kind of so the kids can kind of take something away. Again, me being a club coach as well as a high school coach, I understand the dynamics, which you don't really get that at a lot of high schools. unfortunately. A lot of these coaches aren't club coaches or didn't play at the next level or didn't coach at the next level. So I get what they're going through. And so I'm trying to give them something that they can take back to both levels, from the sense of, we work on balance work one day, or stability, or injury prevention, or we work on strengthening, because a lot of these clubs, they don't have a gym, and we do. So we can work on that with our kids. So I'm trying to do something like that while still keeping them engaged. I think the biggest thing, though, is, our principal said it best. He's like, it's always easier to plan that there is going to be a season than if there isn't, and then there is a season.
Yeah.
So we are trying to treat it as if we are going to have a season and we are going to play, and we're putting together some groups to move forward. And if it's not this year, it's next year, but maybe it is this year. So we are going to keep preparing like it's this year, just to keep the kids engaged, keep them coming, and keeping them out, because a lot of these kids, a lot of these students, they've been stuck in front of a screen for the last 8 months.
Right.
So just to get them outside. And I try to be as transparent as possible with them. And even during the conditioning phase, I told them day one, I'm like, look, I don't want to kill you guys, run you guys to death, but this is for you guys, and just to be out. I want you guys to hang out. I want you guys to get some, social interaction with each other and with other people, because a lot of them are missing it. And we have kids that don't play club. Club's been going on for a couple months now, a little longer than high school. So at least they got to do that. But some of our kids don't have that luxury to do club. So for those kids, this is giving them the outlet to get outside and exercise a bit and get some fresh air and get some sunlight, because, the depression and all those things are through the roof with our students right now. So I think that's the biggest thing on why we as a program are staying very committed to it and moving the kids forward. I mean, I invited some of the kids from one of my classes that don't even play soccer. I was like, hey, we do weight room Monday, Wednesday, like fill out the forms and come out, just to try to give that out to the kid that wants to do it, to get outside and get out of that room, get out of that dark room and see the sunlight again and get some fresh air.
For sure.
It's a gray area. We don't know what's happening, really. We're just waiting on the state and the district to approve us some more. And until then, we're going to do what we can do,
Fair enough. Progress for sure.
Progress.
What have previous, I'll give you a little chance to kind of brag a little bit. What have previous seasons looked like under the Coach Trantow regime?
Oh boy.
Any successes? Is it a Chino Hills basketball
Oh, we're not there.
Success, or where's the program looking, and where's
we're not quite ball brother status, but we've been good. So I've been here 5 years. We've won league 2 of those 5 years. We've been to CIF 4 out of those 5 years. Made some good runs. I think the biggest thing for our program to brag about, though, is how many kids that have gone through the program. And I know it's not all our program doing it. A lot of these kids play outside of here, but I do like to think that we play a factor in our students going to the next level. And one of our boys just signed for San Diego State. Actually, our signing day was yesterday. But we've sent guys to Cal Poly Pomona, San Diego State, San Marcos, Dominguez Hills. We've sent guys to really good programs, and just keeping them developing even at this level. A lot of kids. I know a lot of people in the soccer community hear this, that high school is a joke and stuff like that. So we take a pride in making it not feel that way and treating it serious, but also working with our athletes to try to help them with their individual goals. So, at the end of the day, if we can send kids to college, and, the competitive side of me is, the next thing up is we want to get a CIF ring, and that's going to be the goal and the mission. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, but we send, however many kids to college, that's a bigger deal in our book anyways. So we got as far as individual awards go, every year we have guys in first team all league. We've had 2 league MVPs in the last 5 years. Both of them went on to go play in college. So it's been good. It's been a really good experience, fun experience. Again, I think a lot of it is due to our support system here. Our principals are really big advocate for us. Our assistant principals are big advocates for us, and they do whatever it takes for me to be successful with our kids. So if I, go to them, I'm like, hey, I need to use the field. They'll, problem. You know, there's never really even a thought about it. They just want to make sure that the students are happy and I'm happy, and we're trying to make a successful program.
Good deal. What did I miss? Anything, any messages you want to get out there? Anything that I may have missed asking?
Oh, I don't know. There was none about the college days, huh?
No, we'll keep it strictly professional as much as possible.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I think that's it as far as like the community stuff goes.
Yeah.
If you want me to go into all my playing day stuff, if you ever, but that might be a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, that'll be a different segment. No, but okay. What's your favorite lunch or dinner spot in Chino or Chino Hills?
Ooh, this is that you put me on the spot on this one.
I did.
Give me a sec.
And everybody always wants to come up with like 3 or 4 answers. So I
You
want
just want one?
I want one. You just got to highlight that one.
I don't want to go so basic. I feel like people are gonna.
It better not be Subway.
No, I wasn't gonna say Subway. So I'll do. I love Joey's barbecue.
Okay, there you go.
The Chino Jam.
Nice.
You
I know because the corner's closed now, so I know that was going to be the answer. But
yeah, I know. My old coach is the corner. We know that place.
Joey's is a good pull. That's a good pull.
Yeah, I mean, you love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
Light, thick, good food. You know, good drinks. That one's great. And I'll throw in one new one. Just maybe it's just because it's close to us, but I do like the new Roll 'em Up taquito place.
Okay, all right.
Down the street. So I know it's not as iconic yet, at least.
Well, it went like viral on TikTok like a couple months ago, and you couldn't the line was crazy for like 3 weeks. You couldn't get into the place. So maybe it's going to go viral again because Coach Trantow said it's the spot.
Roll them up.
Roll them up.
But yeah, me and Danielle went like a month ago, and maybe it was during that time, but it took us like 45 minutes to get through.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with the service or anything. There was just that many cars there. It was crazy.
No, yeah, it's I think some like big TikToker posted about it or something like that, and then all of a sudden people were coming from everywhere to check out the roll 'em up. Exactly.
They have like the new churro place down the street from our school too. That one's pretty good, but that's more like a dessert place. That one's good. All
right. Well, you've thrown out some gems, so we're all set. Good deal.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it, dude. This is fun. Thanks for listening in, watching in on another episode of Chino in the Hills. And until next time, have a good day. Bye.